Hello and welcome back to Rage Gaming and more Nightreign. With the DLC, we have a lot to talk about in regards to relic potential, with new relics technically possible, and of course 2 new Nightfarers in the Undertaker and the Scholar. The purpose of this video is not to give you the literal best meta relics that exist if you have ultimate RNG, or maybe you're just using something to help you, let's say. This is for the reality that you aren't getting those insane RNG relics, but a strong starting position that we can all generally begin with thanks to the remembered storylines, thanks to purchasable ones from the collector signboard or the Jar Bazaar as you progress the game. And I will mention potential RNG benefits that you could look for in the future. Important aspect of this video is definitely going to be the fact that on Limveld you have jails and on the Great Hollow you don't. Sure, in the Deeper Night you might be focusing more on invasion meta, but for normal Limveld I think the jail is still a top tier option. Then when it comes to, the Great Hollow, there are no jails, so you don't want to run this relic line, so we will be covering both as 2 sort of focuses. With that said then, let's begin with the Undertaker. Here is our Ever Jail setup 1 for Limveld. We have the Undertaker Chalice from the Remembrance storyline, so green slot, yellow slot, and anything slot. In the first slot, we have the Remembrance Relic Glass Necklace, giving you increased attack power after using your ultimate, and also helping you charge your ultimate faster. Plus, if you're using your hammer, successive attack boost attack power is very good, but can work for colossal combos. Then obviously in the yellow slot, we have the guaranteed increase your power as you clear jails, and even give you a key. This is the slot that's the most fluid if you have a better RNG one that still gives you the jail boost. In that place, you could be looking for, say, colossal support, more one-hand support, like hammer attack power increase, power stance support, or the well-known and beloved for this character, partial HP restoration upon post-damage attacks, letting her trade and heal up. Remember, we can now get on normal relics, changing your preferred weapon, so we would like colossal weapons or colossal swords as an alternative. Basically, are you going one hand? Are you going one hand with a seal? Are you going power stance hammers? Are you going colossal weapon, power stance colossal weapon, colossal sword? All of these will work, and if you have a relic that lets you find those colossal weapons, it's a great thing to focus. Anyway, in the last anything slot, we have the awesome new Will of the Balancers that you get after defeating the Balancers. 5% increased melee attack power for any melee attack, amazing. 20% increased skill attack power, so that's your weapon skill, also known as Ash of Wars. She is definitely a good Ash of War spammer. Anyone that will be good for that, this relic will be good for, like Wylder. And you get continuous FP recovery, so little bits of FP that help you get an extra few Ashes of War out that you otherwise wouldn't be able to. This feels like a fantastic initial setup for the Undertaker. But of course, that's for Limveld. What about if you're on the Great Hollow where there are no jails and you're not doing that? Well, then we're going with the Undertaker's Urn, the starting one, which is blue, green, green. In that blue slot, again, we have the Will of the Balancers for that massive benefit it provides. Again, in the green slot, we have the Glass Necklace. And lastly, we've got a nice utility slot. Here we could go with something that provides us with benefits for the specific playstyle we have. Improved stance breaking with two-handing with a big colossal weapon. You could get base hammer support here. She does really well with initial standard attack. In this slot, we could get that partial HP restoration upon post-damage attacks for trading. Again, support colossal weapons, colossal sword attacks here. Physical attack power after using grease items really good. Taking attacks improve attack power is also a fantastic line for her as she's going to be trading. Worst case, you could get the purchasable at the Jar Bazaar Grand Tranquil Scene for that partial HP restoration upon post damage attacks and a bit of vigor and poise in a green slot. That's a nice guaranteed one to get you started. Right, next up we have the complicated one, which is the Scholar. Why is this complicated? Well, because in solo, you want a different setup to when you're in a group. The Scholar has some amazing perks to AoE providing item benefits to your team. The idea of empowering that, then AoE giving it to your team multiple times throughout a boss fight, making them basically tanks. This is where the strength of him lies in group play. But obviously that's completely irrelevant and useless in solo. Then we have the 2 sides of the coin with, Ever Jail meta or whether you're on the Great Hollow. That's why it's a bit all over the place. I'm just going to explain this as best I can. So first up, let's say you're solo and you're doing Ever Jail meta on Limveld. You're going to want the stat change relic so that you actually have dex scaling and can be functional in combat. You can buy this from the signboard after you defeat the Dreadlord the first time, so it is guaranteed. You also get improved endurance and endurance +3 and dexterity +3 to really help you with this. So really nice for solo. Then obviously we have Ever Jail meta. But again, if you have something that's better than the default one you buy from the Jar Bazaar, you could get an RNG one like this that's pretty solid. Character skill cooldown reduction and dexterity instead, awesome. Lastly, I really like Will of the Balancers here. You're giving that melee attack power increase to 5%. You're encouraging a bit of Ash of War use. This is more of a melee build, right? So we're investing in that. You're looking for a good dex weapon, and you're going to be using a good Ash of War to spam it throughout the run. Other options could be Bloodborne Rally Mechanic. His normal priority would be something like Thrusting Swords, but if you can get a different, better dex sort of focus, like Curved Swords, Katana, so you're more likely to prefer those and actually get them, that's a good idea. Unfortunately, his character-specific relics aren't that great for solo play, so that's why there aren't any. Next, we have the setup for if you're in a group and you're doing the Evergaol meta on Limveld. So as you can see, we've got the red, yellow setup. In this, we have Knight of the Fathom, a guaranteed relic from the bosses, which is nice, giving you increased max health and AoE heal, but very importantly, the guaranteed items confer effect to all nearby allies. This line is absolutely required if you're going to do group play as Scholar, so if you have a better RNG relic that has that line, then go for it. But we have a guaranteed way to get it, at least highlighted. So the whole point here is that you're going to get your items to level 3 and then AoE them to your team for big damage buffs or damage mitigation or whatever it is. Next, we need a relic that has Wraith Calling Bell in possession at start. In this case, we have a bit of bonus lightning damage and hey, some art gauge, but there are many better ways you could RNG roll this. It doesn't matter, you want the Wraith Calling Bell as a prime source for your FP. For the last slot then, we have the Evergaol Relic, so that you're able to actually, go get that attack boost. If you have a better RNG relic with that attack power increase for each Evergaol prisoner defeated, but other better lines, great. We could also consider the My Dear Successor Remembrance Relic in this slot, which has the 2 unique Scholar lines to help boost attack for your allies when using character skill, and help you actually have that character skill more often. Then we have the Great Hollow setup. We have solo and group. Firstly, for solo, again, we're doing the whole stat change concept, which is the guaranteed relic you can buy from the collector signboard after defeating the Dreadlord the first time, giving you priority for endurance and dexterity, making you a melee fighter so you can function in solo. With that, we still go with a Will of Balancers, and then that last slot is a lot more versatile. Classic Bloodborne rally mechanic, anything that helps you find more reliable dex weapons like Discover Katanas would be great here. So with the Evergaol relic out, you just take that slot and do the best RNG relic you've got for the purpose of being a melee fighter. Finally, we have Great Hollow if you're doing a group play, so you're playing more support style. Once again then, we have a relic that has Wraith Calling Bell, so that's your prime source of damage for a lot of the run, and then obviously you'll be looking for a status weapon to use that whenever you can. And it actually runs the My Dear Successor for certain as the full support playstyle, using the character skill to help your allies out and help you use that more often. Lastly, again, we have the same guaranteed relic, Knight of the Fathom, to give you that all-important line, items confer effect to all nearby allies. You need this for the support playstyle of consuming items near allies to make them super strong or tanky or whatever, but if you have a better RNG relic that can fit in this slot that has that line, then go for it. But hopefully that was understandable. The 2 playstyles of support in group or solo and more dex focused on your own. And that brings us back to the start then. So we're going to go through the original Nightfarers pretty quick. I've covered these quite a few times in the past, so I'm going to try to be quick. Basically, same meta as before for Wylder. The Wylder's earring is ridiculous for the character skill use and the power of the ultimate to spread fire for DPS, and you get stamina recovery on landing attacks. It's so much in one slot. In the next slot, it's the yellow slot for the guaranteed attack power increase per Evergaol. For the meta for Limveld, getting one with the Wylder unique one to give you that fire attack after using the character skill with the greatsword is awesome. Lifesteal through, the Bloodborne rally mechanic, greatsword attack power, plenty of good options. Such as anything that helps you generate art gauge, your ultimate art, more often. In the last slot then, I do recommend the Will of the Balancers. Again, 5% increase to melee attack power, 20% increase to skill attack power. He is a Ash of War spammer, it's great. And FP recovery to help you with that. It's a really nice feature. In place of that, if you're on the Great Hollow instead, there is the guaranteed relic from the Everdark version of Gladius, helping you have stamina recovery on landing attacks +1, taking attacks improves attack power, encouraging that trading, and fire attack power up for your ultimate or base fire damage that you might have. This is a guaranteed and solid option. But again, if you have an RNG relic with the Wylder specific enhanced fiery attack with great swords for the character skill, maybe physical attack up, defeating enemies fills more of the art gauge, improved great sword attack power, the Bloodborne rally mechanic, this will all work in that yellow slot. Next we have the Guardian, probably my least played Nightfarer, so covering it very quickly. This is for the Evergaol meta, so as per usual we have red, yellow, yellow, and in this case we have the guaranteed purchasable one. If you have a better RNG one, then obviously go for it. I find the Guardian has serious stamina issues though, so that guaranteed Everdark one from Gladius giving you that stamina recovery. Taking attacks improves your attack power, really nice. And I really like this one for guarding, which is going to give you art gauge and send out shockwaves, so reflecting damage and helping with endurance. In place of the Everjail meta then, if you're on the Great Hollow, improving your guard ability, so increased stamina, improved guard counters, reflecting a portion of damage when ability activates, increased duration of the guardian character skill, and of course the Bloodborne rally mechanic for health restoration post damage attacks. Next up we have the classic Ironeye. This is a bit of an awkward one in terms of your colours, and there's a couple options really. For the Everjail meta, then yellow slot is important, so that you can have the attack power one that's guaranteed. Again, if you're an RNG setup, you could change colour entirely, make this a bit more easy for you. Ultimately, we still all can agree that the extra character skill use is insane and required for the character. So any way you can have it set up to have both the attack power for each Everjail and the extra character skill use is the most important thing. Whatever that looks like for you, make it happen. In my case then, I've got a yellow and a red for that, which is a random RNG roll on the second skill. In the blue slot, it is interesting. You absolutely could do some interesting stuff with Ash of War spam and the FP recovery, and you will use your melee weapon with Ironeye. That's the right way to play him. Having a melee weapon and a bow and swapping between them regularly. So the Wylder balances can be relevant for him. But plenty of people still swear by the Knight of the Lord, which is really fun and effective for Ironeye, of course. You can have multiple ranged weapons swapping between them, constantly getting the affinity bonuses, getting all kinds of attack boosts because of it. Be aware then that Ironeye really benefits from lines like stamina recovers with each successful attack, and character skill cooldown reduction to help him use that character skill more often. When we can do away with the Everjail meta for the Great Hollow, there is a lot more potential here, like an easy relic for yellow slot for that extra character skill use, which then frees up my red slot for something that's a bit more relevant. Like taking attacks improves my attack power for a while, and boosts thrusting counterattacks after executing my art. Anything that helps you generate ultimate art faster and gives you stamina recovery, like again the successful attacks giving stamina recovery, would be fantastic. For Duchess then, for the Everjail meta, we have the same yellow slot. We have yellow, yellow, green for this. The guaranteed attack bar increase for each Everjail if you're on Limveld. Again, RNG option, go for that if you have a better one. With that, it's very important that you have the Duchess line improved character skill attack power to empower the benefits of restage. And then it's a question, are you going more into your dagger and improving that? You've got Carrion Sword Sorcery for the Slicer that is super meta, or the Crystallian Sorcery for more medium range options. Giving yourself an early start with Knight of Miasma is a classic though. Giving yourself a guaranteed Frost Dagger, invisibility, and attack power up once you get that Frostbite. It's super good. But there's also Hoarfrost Stomp, which is unbelievably good, especially against weak packs of enemies at the start. If you have an RNG one that has that line and other perks that are relevant, it could be fantastic for you. But what are lines that you'll be looking for? Helping you use restage more often, so character skill reduction. And then there are lines like improved Carrion Sword Sorceries or Crystallian Sorceries for those focuses. So in place of that, when we lose the Everjail meta when we're doing the Great Hollow, we could go for something like that. Improved Crystallian Sorcery here and character skill cooldown reduction. A good example of exactly what I was looking for. But I like the fact that we have a guaranteed way to have a strong start with the Frost Dagger setup with Knight of Miasma. But I do really rate Hoarfrost Stomp as an alternative to that. Next up, we have the Raider. For the Everjail meta, again, we use a setup that actually allows for that. Guaranteed setup. Red, blue, yellow here. So there's that guaranteed one you can purchase. If you have a better RNG one, go for it. With this setup then, the most important thing that you have is the best Raider line. Damage taken while using character skill improves attack power and stamina, so you trade with your character skill and get a nice damage buff. With the Torn Braided Cord, you can get that in a guaranteed way. Lastly, you got to think about whether you're going to go power stance or two-hand and then use a relic tied to that. I like this guaranteed one, giving us endurance, stamina recovery on attack, and then stance break when using two armaments, so the power stance colossal setup. Other options would be your Bloodborne rally mechanic, so post damage attacks heal you, taking attacks improves attack power, anything that helps your character skill cooldown, and we can fit stuff like that when we lose the yellow slot. So for example, with the Raider's unique chalice thing, so we got red, red, anything, so I can have that Raider important line, and then other RNG benefits. I can have that improved stance breaking while power stancing thing, and then that anything, we can have something guaranteed, like the Everdark version of Gladius, and its stamina recovery on attack, and taking attacks improves attack power for the trading concept. Alright, when it comes to the Revenant, I do find it a bit awkward. The Everjail meta be damned, basically. You need those lines for the Revenant. Strengthens family and allies when ultimate is active is very good. Trigger Ghost Flame Explosion during ultimate art activation. That makes it like a literal explosion burst unbelievable for clearing packs during your run. Really nice in solo play, still very useful in a group. And finally, power up while fighting alongside family. So you got your summons, you're stronger. These 3 lines are so important that I make sure I have them. If you can fit the Everjail power up whenever you're on Limveld with these 3 lines, then amazing. Congrats on the RNG. But I've got to do this very awkward setup here to make it happen. Other obvious options are good though. The one that gives you max FP as you do Sorcerer's Rises, or increase your FP when you're holding multiple Sacred Seals, helping your art gauge generate, but these 3 top lines are what you absolutely want. Next up for the Recluse, I think it's pretty simple for me. We have yellow, green, and anything. For the Everjail meta then, you've got the Everjail Relic. Get this through RNG if you can, making things a bit more free flow. A popular one, for good reason, is the whole suffer blood loss and increase your attack power when you use your ult. This can help your allies out, like even a Executor if he's in the team, or give you benefits for blood loss from passives you might find on the run. Either way, increasing your attack power after using your ult is a very impactful thing, especially when you get minded intelligence with this relic. Of course, you also want the Recluse line. Collecting affinity residue activates Terra Magica, so if you stand on the Magica rune, you're dealing increased magic damage for all of your casting. Very important, and it's guaranteed through the Remembrance Relic. Outside of that, you're looking for lines like this: max FP increase from Sorcerer's Rise, Crystera and sorcery improvements, magic attack power, and any other ways to increase your FP like having 3 staffs. Finally then, we get to the Executor, who is still a status spamming machine, an Ash of War spammer for sure, so we have some new potential. If you're on Limveld, then yeah, we've got this blue, yellow, and anything slot set up, and we've got the attack power for each Everjail clear relic. If you have a better RNG one, that will free things up for you. I go with Night of Miasma for the guaranteed relic to give us some nice status at the start, your Frost and Bleed option on your starting katana. Then with that, in the blue slot, we have the new Will of Balances. Melee attack power great, improved skill attack power for our Ash of War spam amazing, and FP recovery to make that possible. I really like this combo. If we drop the Everjail meta because we're going into the Great Hollow or something, then we can nicely fit in a guaranteed relic, the Dark Knight of the Beast from the Everdark version of Gladius. For stamina recovery as we attack, and taking attacks improves attack power, and then that random fire attack bonus. Other things we'll be looking for is more ways to benefit from status. So giving yourself a setup with poison and benefiting from that, or even just going into the Bloodborne rally mechanic for healing as you trade. But yeah, that finally covers it for the relic setup, and strong setups for the early days of the DLC with minimal RNG and RNG suggestions where I could give them. I hope this was useful to you and gives you a strong place for all of the Nightfarers. If you guys have any advice or information that I've not included in this video, let us know in the comments below. Until next time then, I've been Hollow, you've been you, and thank you for watching.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.